Welcome, everyone. Welcome to She Who Holds the Light. Today is Thursday, December 4th, 2026, and or 2025. Woo, getting ahead of myself. We're going to be talking about 2026 a bit today. I am just honored and delighted to have each of you here because I know when we gather together in connection like this, we are a mighty force. There's a lot that I want to share with you today, and I was telling Lori yesterday, I've been working, I have a whole slide presentation for you. I've been tweaking it and modifying and pulling things and adding things, and it's like I just can't do everything in an hour and a half, but I'm going to do my best. This is an experience as well as an information training. So as I said in the emails, be sure to take notes if that aligns with you. You will get a copy of this audio recording and video recording tomorrow. So, look for the email tomorrow to be able to catch up on the things that you missed because like I said, we have a lot. I'm going to be walking us through 5 areas of change we can expect to see in the next couple of years as part of our collective ascension. And some of these may seem quote unquote scary if we approach them from egoic or personality consciousness, but they are all designed to support our great awakening, our planetary shift. So what I want to do now, is I'm going to begin the slideshow. For those of you who have joined me a lot, believe it or not, we are not going to dance today, but we are going to do a prayer invocation to welcome people and welcome the energies of support. We have, before I go to the slides, we have more than 350 women who have registered for this. Obviously, they won't all be here. There are women from all over the world joining us who will join us in the replay. And since all time is, in a sense, now, surely they will. We are activating something at a very powerful level. Okay, now let me share and. Just who am I seeing on my screen here? Lori or Megan? If you give me a thumbs up, can you see my slides? Yeah, okay, great. All right, so Lori, I'm going to leave you in charge now. Are you able to let people in when we're looking at the slides? You are, okay. Okay, so I'm going to reduce that so I can look here. Here we are. Welcome to She Who Holds the Light. What's coming? How to prepare? And your sacred role in humanity's next evolutionary leap. Here we go.
Dawn,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I can hardly hear you.
Uh,
I have my volume on high.
okay.
I can hear everyone else, but not you that well.
Well, I'm not sure what to do about that. I've got mine on high. Are other people experiencing a sound problem?
No.
No?
No? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So is that Bora? That's Bora. Yeah, sorry, Bora. Maybe if you have a headset or something?
Yeah, not with this one, but yeah, thank you. I've got
Okay.
the captions on. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Some
All
are
right.
saying they have it's low and some aren't.
All right. Yeah, I've got mine up as high as I can. Let me stop share for a moment just to triple check any of my places for sound. Uh,
Uh,
systems.
Your mic's connected.
preferences. My mic is connected, although, you know what? Let me just make sure I could unplug this particular mic if it's not, maybe it's a little old or something. Let's try that. Tell me what you all think about this. Okay, now I'm on the computer mic. Is there any difference there?
Yes, better.
Better.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's time for a new microphone. All right, we're retiring you. Sorry about that, and thank you, Bora. All right, so let's get back at it here, and welcome to the new people. Please be sure to mute yourselves. There's a lot we're going to go through here, but for now, let us begin with an invocation, opening sacred space, and an invocation and welcoming to Green Tara. And before we do that, I just want to let you know, why Green Tara. Green Tara is a Tibetan goddess of mercy and compassion. And what I have found in my own journey of, we could call ascension, awakening, healing, is that Self-mercy and self-compassion have been one of the most essential tools that I needed, that I have worked and leaned into cultivating for myself. And in these times and these 2 years to come, as ascension accelerates and sort of the devolution of the unloving systems also accelerate, humanity needs our mercy and compassion. And that is not done with a personality or an ego. That's a divine dispensation that flows through us when we clear up enough of our own distortions to be able to love ourselves, forgive ourselves, and allow that to flow through. So as I was preparing these slides in supporting a beloved family member who's really struggling, in my prayer, Green Tara, who has her foot, you can see there in the image, stepping down to come and support us in our prayers, came really rushing into my life. She's a divine ray of the mother that I've worked with many times. So she's present with us now, and let's just go into a little connection with the heart to formally welcome her and open up sacred space. So taking a breath into the heart. As you exhale, allow all the other aspects of the day to release, 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 release. Taking a breath in, coming into present moment awareness, opening the heart space, we say, "O great green Tara, Mother of mercy and compassion, we welcome you as the overlighting goddess, deity, wisdom keeper for this transmission, this container, this space of learning, growing, and connection. Let each sister in this circle, here now or those who will watch in the replay, to feel your beautiful divine light in their hearts as you dance the dance of compassion, mercy, and awakening for self and thereby for all of life. Welcome, Green Tara. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to all the guides, angels, master teachers that join us here and guide our journey as light bearers, light leaders, priestesses, star seeds, light workers for these times now. Take a breath, really feel that in your heart. Welcome. Okay. Quickly, a couple of temple keeping things. You are welcome to introduce yourself in the chat, and you can let us know where you're from, or I would love to know what's one thing that you're hoping to get out of this, or one reason why you chose to join us in this gathering. I would love to hear that. We will have some time near the end to do a little sharing of feedback from everyone. Again, also, please be heartful of keeping your mic muted, because if there's noise behind you and I'm speaking, it's very distractive, or sometimes there's echoes. So yeah, just be heartful of that. And take notes. Be sure to take notes, because there's a lot here for you. If you're a note taker, if that's too much, no worries. Also, feel free to share insights in the chat as we go. And I get it if that's not what you want to do, or if you're on your phone and that's too hard. But you could also use the react emoji when something really lands for you. Let me know. Let us know. Wow, that made sense, or was really activated you in some way. And near the end of this presentation, we're going to talk about next steps for 2026. I'll be sharing with you at least one way to do that. So that's where we're going a little bit, and I'm going to unfold more here in a moment. But just again, and we're going to be doing a lot of breaths in between things so that we stay grounded, centered in our bodies, connected with the field we are creating here. So breathing in, exhaling into deeper presence. So my goal here is to unfold a little bit about what's coming, how to prepare your sacred role in our next evolutionary leap as a human family. And I really want to support you in strengthening your inner resilience and provide you with a few tools and takeaways from this short gathering. Again, we only have about an hour and a half, so it's not a huge deep dive, but even if you walk away with one tool that helps you to have more clarity, more alignment, then I've done my part here. because my desire is for you to really feel the truth that you are a light for yourself and others whose lives you touch in these times. We're going to be focusing on expanded insight, energy guidance, and practical spiritual tools. Again, just a few valuable takeaways for this short gathering. So here we go. Change. Change is upon us. Change has been obviously upon us since 2020. And now we shift into another sort of octave of speed up, if you will. So there's an old saying that has been attributed to an old Chinese saying, but when I did some research on it, apparently there's no proof of that. But anyway, it's in the collective, may you live in interesting times. And interesting times was considered to be both a blessing and a bit of a backhanded blessing at that, or a challenge, because interesting can mean challenge. And there's a rune, for any of you who know the rune stones, there's a rune called Hagalaz, which represents this challenge and opportunity, disruption and transformation. And I can think of no better way to describe these next 2 years than this. Change is coming. Our choices now have impact at a personal and a collective level, and at a personal, like this incarnational level, and at the soul level. Now, I know that sounds really heavy. I don't want to be scary or anything, but it's our choice points we are being called to elevated choice points, and we're going to work with the higher self a little later in this presentation to support you with that. So the question is, how can we best navigate these next 2 years of increased acceleration, of change, of breakdown of the old to make room for the new? In some sense, you can call what we have been seeing unfold, and will continue to unfold for a little spell here, for at least the next 2 years, a kind of global purification. But for those of you who were raised in Judeo-Christian biblical stories, we are not talking about, fire or flood. Will there be earth changes? Yeah, we're going to talk about that in change number 4. But what many of you may already know is what we're really looking at as a planetary rebirth. There's been a lot of influence in the field to leverage our power as a collective in our beliefs, our fears, our thoughts, to miscreate disaster on a global scale, imprisonment, etc., on a global scale. But the truth is, there's way too many of us now who are holding the light for that to take place, because one person holding the frequency of love or above is far more mighty than thousands of those steeped in fear. So we are here to be like the midwives, you could say, of New Earth, the rebirth of Gaia, the garden planet, through a shift in consciousness. And that's why there's been so many people awakening for decades now. And even now, I've been talking with many, many women who they suppressed their gifts when they were younger, or they were having an ordinary life. And all of a sudden in the last 6 months to a year, 3 months, all of a sudden they're, boom, consciousness shift. They're like, what's going on? I need to find people. It's really happening. So as much as we may see acceleration of what I sometimes call planet crazy, the unraveling of the unloving systems, there is an acceleration of awakening. Pop, 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 pop. It's happening. The influence of the light we are now bathed in as a solar system is profound. It's affecting all of us. It's affecting our physical bodies, our consciousness, our emotional, all of it. And of course, Earth Gaia. Now, near the very end of this, our time together today, we're going to be talking more about light and plasma and working with that a little bit, giving you a taste of that. But for now, let's see. I want to remind us all that we will be presented with many invitations and opportunities to choose what boils down to fear or love in the coming months and years. So I call it invitations and opportunities. It will be pumped out as, this disaster is going to happen next. This bad thing is happening. You better take a side. They're invitations for you to lower consciousness, or to, thank you, no thank you, raise consciousness, align with love rather than fear. So what we're going to, how do we do this? It's so compelling, especially if we've got 3D things we have to address, money, family, schooling, whatever your circumstances are. So we're going to want to pull in as much support as possible, first of all, to strengthen our inner sovereignty. Because this really is, and you'll see I'm going to weave this throughout, this is about our sovereignty and consciousness, sovereignty in body and mind. We also want to be clear about which timeline we're choosing in any now moment. And this relates to, I'm going to talk about timeline. I'm going to show you a little schematic I created for that, if that's an unfamiliar term to you. And we're also going to be working again with the higher self to make decisions from an elevated place of consciousness. And we want to consistently choose what we truly want. And when I say want, I don't mean ego personality want. We all probably want more money or a vacation in the Bahamas or whatever you fill in the blank. Soul. What did I come here to truly deliver? How did I come to show up in the world? What would bring me truly peace? And sometimes that will show up as a vacation in the Bahamas. If you're meant to line up and meet somebody or do something there, then that's going to present. But at the soul energetic. So consistently choosing that despite external events of any kind. So for example, and travel is just, it's an easy illustration, but it doesn't have to be. How many people are, have scheduled to go on a holiday somewhere and then there's an earthquake there or something bad happens and they cancel their plans, even though the thing already happened. I'm not talking about lava flows. I'm talking about, like an event happened. Oh, I'm not going to go there now. It's dangerous. That's a different consciousness than what is my guidance guiding me to, whether that, for whatever it is, whatever, it's not just travel. So we want to pull in the support, be clear about timeline choice, and consistently choose what we really feel called to. This is, let us remember, the last gasp of the old energies, the dominator culture that siphons life force from the human collective and leverages human consciousness to miscreate systems that keep the old powers alive. That's running out. That's we are in an ascension journey. The unloving systems have to go. And we are using divine decrees as light workers. We are working with Gaia's ascension and the cycles of time. They all point to the same thing. The old system is over. We're just seeing the last gasps. So our choice point, let us remember, it's not about choosing a side, like that side is wrong and this side is right. It's any narrative, any divisive, controversial, upsetting issue, war, or storyline is an invitation to lower frequency. The true choice is to give our attention to the old or withdraw our attention from the old. Or to put it in a more positive light, to give our attention to the new or withdraw our attention from the new because we're paying attention to the old. That's the true choice. That's the true determiner of which timeline we'll be on. A couple other things here, 2 more slides, and then we'll take a breath. Fear and the ego, both of these as acronyms come from the late Wayne Dyer, I believe. Fear standing for false evidence appearing real, and ego as edging God out. So we are at the choice point. Are we going to focus out there at the false evidence appearing real and be bullied by fear? Oh my God, I've got to do that because, this is the law, this is the dictate. Oh my God, whatever. Or are we going to focus in here? And our devotion today, and really in my life and my services right now, is to strengthen our capacity to be so aligned in here that whatever's out there, the fear that wants to trigger ego, just, yes, there it is, another invitation to go into fear. But I can come back in here so that we align with the higher order of love, of light, of ascension, and new earth. So I feel called to just, invite us to a breath now before we just quickly look at the timelines. So you can see in the arrow on the left side of the screen, the thicker arrow, we all kind of were in this together. And then there's been this split. And it's a consciousness split. It has to do with the choices we make, the energy we carry every day, and that idea of the law of attraction, that the energy we're emanating, we're pulling back to us a frequency match. So good gets better and bad gets worse as these timelines split. And you can see that things started close with each other, unified, and then splits. And the farther along we go down the timeline, the wider the gap. So the timeline of sovereignty, self-awareness, love as a primary frequency, not romantic love, divine love, love for humanity, love for God, love for self, divine, holy love as frequency, brings us to the good getting better, helps with self-correcting realities that have maybe in the past been difficult. Whereas those who are operating from fear as a primary frequency, who are more in the consensus state, they're watching the news, they're believing the narratives, they're making choices out of fear, they're not really tuned into the inner self, their energy's out there, right? Off balance and out there. Things are going to become more challenging for them. And like all light workers, starseeds, and priestesses, we were all placed in families and situations and locations that can feel very isolating because we're plunk often right in the middle of folks who are on what looks like a descending timeline. And many of us have come to understand now it is not our job to drag them up by trying to preach to them because we're never a prophet in our own home. Our job is to be so centered in our own love that we can love them no matter what their choices, recognizing that their soul has lessons that we don't understand. And all we need to do is be the love and be the light. And if they choose to come to the light of our, ask questions or somewhere else or make a more loving, self-loving choice for themselves, all the better. But if not, then we love them anyway. It's not about trying to force change on anyone or proselytize, but simply to hold that light, almost like acupuncture needles all over Gaia, to support our brothers and sisters. For those willing hearts who choose it, and either way, supporting love in the field. Okay, take a nice deep breath. Allow the subconscious mind to receive all that's of value to you, releasing the rest. Okay, 5 areas of change, practical tools and practices in service to divine awakening and humanity's freedom. These 5 areas we're going to cover today: frequency interference, mass distraction, digital control, earth changes, and then the uplift at the very end, plasmic light and new light codes. Here we go. In addition to a sample of sacred practices to support each of these, all of these areas, for us to navigate them from a higher frequency, from an inner aligned frequency, also require connection, alliances with others who get it and who can support our sovereign choices with witness, encouragement, and non-judgment. That's why we gather, right? And for those who are blessed to have gatherings locally, all the better, or retreats, but also online gatherings as well, communities, etc. Important note, a reminder, again, this is not about fear. We're going to look from heart-centeredness and connection as sister light keepers at some stuff that seems scary for the collective. It's not about fear. We came for these times. We are equipped to be light leaders. You would not be here otherwise. And given that, many of us are already experiencing deep personal challenges in order to excavate and eliminate the old belief systems, constructs, habits of thought, unloving nature within that are obstructing us from really, really being potent conduits for light. It's as it should be, and it can be hard. It can feel like you're slogging through the hell realms sometimes. And if you're not going through that, know that you are holding the light powerfully for those who are. We are all, in some way, shape, or form, until we're really liberated from it, going through some personal challenges and also witnessing collective levels of challenge. So with each of these 5 areas we're about to go through, we're going to look at a bird's eye view, just a touch point on a few of the themes. Again, it's not possible in an hour and a half to dive into all of these. But just again, the idea being, what is our choice? Are we going to go to this side, or are we going to go up and go, that's the bigger picture. These are the kind of themes. So we want to go to the bird's eye view. Then I will provide you with a simple grounding practice. I'll guide you through, but also talk about other possible, things that will support you with each of these 5 areas of change. And the goal is so we can lift as we rise. Not by dragging people who are unwilling, but literally like rising together like the rising tide that lifts all ships. Okay, invitation to another breath as I take a sip of my tea. Area of change number 1, frequency interference. We have so much frequency interference, it's just ridiculous. And here we still are. Here we still are. Is that not a testament to our capacity as divine beings inhabiting a physical form? We're still here. So, examples of frequency interference, the electrical grid generally. 5G in particular. Excess electrical noise, just all of the static. I think sometimes that we're living on a planet that if you're old enough to have had a black and white TV with the rabbit ears, you turn on the channel, it's just the lines and stuff. That's a lot of what we're actually, if we could see the frequencies, and maybe some of you who are seers can see it, there's so much of that. And a lot of that has to do with the towers, the grid, what is that thing that Elon Musk put out there? We're just bombarded with it. Your devices, especially the phones, they are these frequency emanators that are not that great for our bodies. And again, here we are still. It's still not diminish us. But for those who are not connected with heart and soul and higher orders of light, it distorts the field, distorts our electromagnetic field of our bodies. Other frequency interference is the news, which I always put in quotes because it's not news, it's propaganda. And it's fear-mongering, and its goal is divisiveness. Then there's just the general stress and complexity. Has anyone here navigated, you got a problem with your electric bill or some service, any kind of service, and you got to get online, or you got to call up and you get supposedly something convenient that's a non-human, and it's just more complicated than it is convenient. These kinds of micro stressors build up. Maybe it's just traffic. Maybe it's all the hoops you have to jump through for anything, paperwork or what have you. So that's also frequency interference, just unnecessary complexity. They're all frequency lowering tactics to lower our frequency so that's harder to stay in alignment, harder to stay uplifted and in the heart. They're drawing ego and survival instincts forward and outward, away from the center. So I wanted to illustrate this before. I'm going to say it now. In the center, here we are, center, balanced. But when we get pulled off center because of fear, annoyance, excess electrical energy in our field, which I'm going to show you how we can clear in a little bit, we get pulled out, off balance. So again, frequency interference, it's lowering tactic and pulls us off center. So what do we do about it? Awakening the divine heart. This is the single most priceless thing, in my humble opinion, that light workers, priestesses, starseeds can do right now, is awaken our divine heart. Our divine heart is not the muscle. It's not the chakra. It's the portal by which we connect with our divinity, our eternal divine oneness with God, Goddess, the I Am, with each other. That is a powerful way. It's coming into center, and we're going to do a practice here in just a moment. We also want to be able to dissipate excess electrical energy on a regular basis. Simple way to do this, um, Epsom salt bath. If you can't do an Epsom salt bath, Epsom salt foot soak. That will literally help you dissipate that. Another super simple way, earthing. And that's a theme that will come throughout. And those of you who work with me, you know I'm really big on Mama Earth. There are studies that show that when you have your electromagnetic field read by devices that read the electromagnetic field, and you've been working on computers or with your phone on your body all the time, it's full of this excess energy. And then if you go on an earthing mat, or preferably actually bare feet on the earth, or at best bare hands on a tree, and you do that for a few minutes, and then you have yourself read again, so much of that is dissipated. It's energy hygiene, and it's a little bit non-negotiable at this point, given how electrified our planet is. And then also step away from devices and divisiveness via media. And that returning to center, return to center, return to center. So with that in heart, let us do a quick little practice here of 0 point. So I invite you now to put down I'm going to actually stop share so I can visit with you a little bit. Okay. Hi, everybody. Go ahead, close your eyes, and I want you to notice all the energy up in the head. If there's energy up in the head, just be with it for a moment. All the words I've been sharing, perhaps sounds around you, the stimulation of seeing others on the screen, or the information. Now take a breath into that energy, and on the exhale, just drop down into the heart. Pause on the empty and stay silent. When you're ready, you can inhale slowly and attune your awareness to the center of the center of the center of your being, kind of in the high heart area, so just above the heart center, on that bone that kind of sticks out at the chest, and about the middle of your chest. This is the portal to your divinity. And just begin to breathe there for a moment, inhaling, maintaining focus on the 0 point, tiny pinprick of light at the center of your being. Exhaling, holding your focus there in complete stillness, silencing the narratives. Breathing in, staying focused in the center, this gateway, this portal, this pinprick of light. Exhaling, pausing in silence. Feel the peace of that. Feel the grounded centeredness of that. This is your true home, your access to home here in form. Maintaining that as much as possible, I invite you back into the room. I'm going to go back to screen share. Okay. Another breath. We're going to move into change number 2, mass distraction. Look over here, look over there. Oh no, big scary thing to be afraid of over there. Oh no, terrible thing that we should have an agenda about stopping over there. If you'll notice, and I'm sure you have, there's been a continual ramp up of polarizing events and narratives since 2020. All of them pull us away from that center, that still point that you just experienced. I want to underscore something that you may or may not be aware of, that in both the quote unquote news as well as any social media you may follow, information streams have become siloed. So think about it like a silo, it's a tower that you hold grain in. So you've got different silos of information. And this goes a long way to explaining why you could be watching some kind of information and you see people who have such a radically different belief than you that you just think, are they crazy? And yet, those on that other side, they are thinking you're crazy. And this is because of siloed information. So back in the day, again, black and white TV, Roger, what was it? The newscasters back then, we all kind of watched the same news. Nowadays, newscasters have become their propaganda devices, and then algorithms in all social media from YouTube to Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 fill it in. They will track what you are tracking and give you more of what you're looking at to the point where, just like that timeline, the timeline map I showed near the beginning, that's what's happening, the separation of belief. So again, we have three choices in any big scary thing that you're being presented with in any kind of media or world or social in your community thing. We can choose one side, we can choose the other, or we can rise above it and go, there's another divisive frequency lowering tactic by the systems and the puppeteers who have benefited from humanity's ignorance, enslavement at a consciousness level, and cooperation with tyranny. We are returning to become sovereign beings, and that is not done by taking one side or another. Again, with a caveat, sometimes something's in your lane. If something's in your lane because you got a kid in school and you don't like what they're doing in school and you need to go to the school board about that, it's in your lane. But if it's something that's just you're wringing your hands over and it's happening somewhere else, it's not part of you. If you are not purely called as your service and ministry to be an advocate for change, like in that public level, if that's your path, that's your path. But for many of us, it's to elevate our frequency by coming into center and holding the light. So these are discernment things we have to be aware of. When you see something that seems so crazy and absurd, how could anybody believe the other opposite of this thing? Siloed information. What am I choosing? Am I choosing this side? Am I choosing that side? Or am I choosing to rise above it and recognize, that's the play of form. That's the play of the collective unraveling of the unloving systems. And I am going to not accept that invitation. Thank you very much. I'm going to choose again instead to be in my light, in my sovereignty, and activate more powerful love. Okay, next practices. Well, I kind of already started to talk about them, but the practices for this one is opening your inner vision. We have to see through the veil of illusion, the illusion that all of this is real, when really what is real is that you are light, you are love. You are a holy child of God, Goddess, the great all that is, having a temporary walk through the human experience and being invited again and again. Am I going to choose love or fear? So understanding the truth of who and where we are, having a temporary dream of separation, who I truly am is love, is light, is intelligence, divine intelligence, and then stepping away from it to strengthen your receiver. So I want to talk about the strengthening of the receiver. I saw a lovely little video the other day on the growing up in the 70s. If any of you have grown up in the 70s, you could put it in the chat or leave a little, do a little emoji thing. I grew up in the 70s. I was born in 65. We rode our bicycles. Our parents said, go outside, come home for dinner or whatever, come home at lunchtime on the weekends or in the summer. We weren't that supervised. We did our own thing. There wasn't a lot. There was TV, but we didn't have devices. We were outside. We were bored. Sometimes we'd just get bored. And boredom is the mother of creativity because we're not receiving input. So strengthening our receiver can come from being in nature without devices, being bored, just sitting in silence. What we want to do is open up the pineal gland's ability. It's a receiver, right? It receives frequency. And there are lots of things you can do, decalcify the pineal gland. Don't use fluoride in your water, or toothpaste or anything like that, you can look up how to decalcify your pineal gland if you feel that that's the case. But to strengthen your receiver, that's a physiological thing, but literally be in nature. That could be any kind of nature. Take a bath if that's all you've got, if it's the dead of winter and it's too cold to be outside or it's raining out. Be in nature, silence. Just allow yourself to be bored. And in time, that receiver becomes stronger and things start coming in. And of course, meditation does that too. Don't be tempted into polarization through fear. Same, we already covered that. Another possibility for the for the the look over here, the nervous distraction, the things that bring you fear or anger or distress is EFT, which is emotional freedom technique for CNS, central nervous system, and dissipating stuck energy. So if you find yourself stuck in a belief system and you're like, no matter what I do, I still have a lot of anger and resentment about XYZ. I still feel I can't get unstuck about ABC. Using the tapping techniques, there's lots of different ways you can do tapping techniques, and languaging around that it's a powerful tool. We're not going to go through it here today. Look on YouTube, there's apps. I mean, it's a wonderful, easy, simple tool that really in some ways would benefit any person as a tool, as emotional and spiritual tool in your toolkit. So EFT is another way of supporting you in dissipating energy you don't need so you can really open the inner vision. And then I want to invite us to the next little practice. And again, it's very abbreviated. This is not a full-fledged, but just a taste of opening the heart stargate and bathing the layers of the body in light. And we're going to focus on the mental layer, since this is about opening inner vision. The mental influences the emotional, which will influence the physical and the frequency, etc. What we believe is what we create. So an invitation to go back into, I'm going to, again, have a look at us all here. Close your eyes. Go back to that 0 point. If there's a lot of words and busyness in the head, inhale into the head. Exhale down into the 0 point. The tiny pinprick of light at the center of the center of the center of your being. Now on the next breath, begin to open that center. Make it bigger, like you're opening the aperture of a camera or a stargate. Open, open, open. And as you do, more light pours through. So just breathe and open that heart stargate till it's a size that feels lovely and comfortable for you. Good. And notice the way that light begins to bathe your physical body. All the cells begin to giggle and light up as they receive what is divine light, God light, the light beyond the light that the eyes can see. Light is information. Light is love intelligence, bathing and lighting up all your cells, all your organs, all your form. And extending into the layer of the body that is the emotional body. And since light dissipates darkness, any places where you have been holding, we could say, lower frequency energies, despair, sadness, limiting beliefs, let that light just gently dissolve. Gently dissolve it all. As much as it is possible for you right now, as the light moves into the mental layer of the body, where sometimes beliefs can become too entrenched. Synaptical wiring in the neurons becomes too strong of a pathway. Old paradigms that need to be released now. Let this divine light gently, lovingly dissolve belief architecture that does not serve your highest timeline. By your attention and your intention, it is so. And on each exhale, pause in the silence to bask in the liberation that comes when we dissolve limitations of the mind, the feeling, and the body. Nice deep breath. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. There's more to that meditation, but we have a lot here, so I want to continue on. Just stay connected with the feelings of the easefulness that comes when you go deep into the center of your being. Another breath to kind of just seal that energy. As we move into number 3, digital control. I don't know about all of you, but definitely this is the one that triggers my ego fear the most, and annoys me the most. But we're gonna go through this with some guidance as well. So what do I mean by this? Digital ID, digital money, track and trace shenanigans, biometric scanning. Now, keep in heart that those who have benefited from controlling us, as we become more and more uncontrollable because we become sovereign in our minds and start going, you know what, I don't want to play that game anymore. They're not just going to go, oh, okay, see you later. They're going to throw everything at us. That's what's been happening. And it will always be presented as a benefit to you. And it's a control tactic. How can we control the human populace? Now, we need not be fearful about this. We need not dive down rabbit holes of conspiracy theories or whatever. That is not the point of this. Some of you, maybe many of you, have already done that. The important thing to recognize here is what the presentation is and what it really means. So, what are the practices? We have to develop some real sacred practices to root strongly in our sovereignty as divine beings. And when we remember that we are divine children of the One, that this is a dream we are co-creating, none of this other stuff holds so much power anymore. But we have been conditioned for a very long time to obey authority. Sometimes at the threat of life or of death, torture, imprisonment, blah, blah, blah. But we are at the leading edge now. We're the vanguards, opening up the field to reclaim our sovereignty in mind and body for ourselves and the collective. So those strong conditioning programs require some unraveling, and because most people are still in them, this is where we can be challenged. And we saw this in 2020. The pressure to comply with regulations that may or may not have felt aligned with us. So one of the first things we can do is to look at where we are conditioned to obey authority automatically, whether it's doctors or lawyers or whatever authority is, police, whatever. I'm not saying to go again, do things against the law by any stretch. I'm saying go within and say, where do I have fear around saying, you know what, that's not aligned with me. I'm not going to do that. And do it. And then get to the back of the line for anything they're putting on an invitation to digitize you. My highest recommendation is that you get to the back of the line with that one. Pay attention to what you're agreeing to. So for example, a lot of people don't know this. They're surprised when I tell them. At least as an American, you're going to have to research it for your own country. You can opt out in airports or public places of biometric scanning and what I call stick 'em up machines. You know, the machines you go through in airports. What is this position? We know what this position is. This is conditioning you to obey authority and put your hands where they can be seen and you cannot protect yourself. So I never comply with those, and they have to, no matter what they might respond with, they have to honor that I say opt out. I literally just say opt out. Because like when you go to security, you'll show them your passport or your card and they'll say, look at the camera. You just say, opt out. They have no authority over you. There's other things too, like the new ID cards in America, these kind of things. So we all have to decide for ourselves. I get it. And I'm not saying we all have to become, intense rebels. You have to decide for yourself. Make it from a sovereign choice, from being connected with your inner wisdom rather than, oh God, I better comply. Or, oh, it's just that, oh, really feel into that, what you're aligned with, and before you agree to it. And please be sure to note keyword phrases like SMART, which is actually an acronym that has to do with surveillance and management. If anyone knows what SMART stands for, please put it in the chat. I was going to look it up, I didn't have time. Things like SMART, enhanced security, green, and convenient are all ways of trying to sell you swampland in Florida, so to speak, to sell you on something that is actually not aligned with your sovereignty. Okay. So embodying your sacred self, this is the real thing. Making decisions from higher self versus fear or going along to get along conformity, because the higher self sees the bigger picture. So our inner sovereignty practice now for this one is we're going to tune into the higher self and invite the higher self to sit upon the throne of our consciousness. So the higher self, the way I'm using it, okay, is the aspect of the self that agreed to your soul plan for this life. So, you can imagine your higher eternal self, not yet a personality of who you are, the soul that's incarnated through many incarnations, that's sitting with your guides or whatever. You're looking at different plans for your life and you're like, okay, I want to push the needle forward on that. I want to finally liberate myself from that pattern that I've had for many incarnations, whatever it is. The higher self sees from a higher perspective. And when we invite the higher self to sit on the throne of our consciousness and make our day-to-day decisions for us, we are much more likely and inclined to go on that higher trajectory of the timeline map I showed you before. So that's the next, we're kind of building with each of these. If you haven't noticed, we're building. So now this is our next practice. So again, inviting you in. Go ahead, close your eyes. Come back to 0 point. Take a breath. If you need to take a breath into the head because of all the talking and words, inhale, drop down into the heart center, the 0 point. Tuning silently. Opening that heart stargate, or if it's already open, that's fine. Open it even a little more. And now from and through the heart, coming out from the heart, we're going to call forth the higher self. So I'll just say this. If you want to repeat it out loud, you can, or just receive it. Higher self, come, come, come. See through my eyes, hear through my ears, feel through my senses, speak through my voice. You who knows the highest trajectory of what's possible for me in this life, I welcome you to sit upon the throne of my consciousness now. Guide my decisions in every now moment, that I choose the highest and best, aligned with love and light and intelligence. Breathe in and take a moment to feel, sense, and know the higher self sitting upon the throne of your consciousness now. Beautiful. And trusting and knowing that your higher self is downloading new information to you now, and that you can access this anytime you want with a breath and intention. I welcome you to open your eyes again as we move forward. I hope this is not too much for any of you sisters. I just wanted to really give you so much before we move into the holiday season here. So just another breath, again, trusting and knowing your higher self has this. Your subconscious mind is taking in everything you need. As we move into number 4, earth changes. Gaia, Mother Earth, is receiving and adjusting to new light. Light is information. Light is higher frequency. And because the amount of light she is receiving and we are receiving through the photon belt we're moving through, which is plasmic light, we're going to talk about that at the very end, through the sun activations, through her own awakening light within herself, she also has to dissipate excess energy, just like we talked about earlier with excess electrical energy. There's geologic movement in her at a greater scale, the pressure to release that comes from, geologic stuff like earthquakes, like volcanic activity. Her magnetics are shifting from deep inside herself in order to let in more higher light. And by the way, this is one of the things that gatekeepers and grid workers do, which is something that one of the things that I do, is we support and facilitate Gaia through gatekeeping and grid work things, opening up stargates to allow plasma flow between Earth and the cosmos. So this is part of what she's undergoing in her ascension process right now. And that affects the elementals, the earth, air, fire, and water. We see we see storms, we see other activations, right? Now, yes, some of us know there's shenanigans that go on with that, whether it's the dews or harp or whatever. But truly, Gaia is also shifting. She's also making shifts. And our practice is to be midwives for her rather than be frightened of her. Or, oh my God, am I in the wrong place? What if there's going to be an earthquake? La, 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 la. 0 point, drop the narratives, and then we attune to Gaia. Remember that all of this is a passage, it's a transition period, not a dystopia, and that we are the creators. We are the co-creators through our mind and our attention. Our consciousness is key. Gaia is a conscious being. She's a great, magnificent conscious being. And when we commune with her daily, through earthing, through speaking with her, through listening to her, through loving her up as gardeners, as walkers in the forest, as swimmers in the sea, whatever it is, as bobblers in lakes and river streams, all of those ways we connect with her. She knows us, and we listen. We listen again without devices, right? We attune to Gaia. I love you, Mother. You're gorgeous. Where would you have me be? What would you have me know on this day? Maybe the wind will sing a song to you. Maybe the trees will call you to them. Maybe you will be sitting by a bonfire somewhere, not if you're here in the dry Southwest, and you will watch the flicks of flame and you will download something. Maybe you will be in the ocean or a body of water. It doesn't matter. Just that attunement, that presence with the elements and the elementals and Gaia is the way to become clear on how you uniquely, as a being of light, as an anchor of light, can midwife and support this great shift we're in. So I'm going to share another practice, root to rise. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to just drop an anchoring cord down into Gaia, and we're going to ascend another one up from the heart, or you could do it from the crown into the heavens, if you will, and become a conduit for light flow, for energy flow. So go ahead again, close your eyes. Take a deep breath into the heart. Bring your awareness to the base of the spine. Take another deep breath. And allow an energetic cord. You could see it as the roots of a tree, or you could see it as a cord drop down from the base of the spine through the layers between you and earth and down into Gaia's body. Just let it drop. You might see even a little kind of a gentle spiraling energy as it goes down, 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 connecting you with Gaia's core, her crystalline core. And this can be done quickly. It's with your attention and your intention. Taking a moment, pause there with her. Welcome, Gaia. Hello. Blessings. Thank you. She is abundant and abundant with nourishment for you. So as you begin now to bring your energy and awareness back up through that root or that anchoring cord, see, feel, and know the life force energy that you are drawing up with each breath through the layers. Drawing the life force up like sap, up a tree, up into the base of the spine, rising up through the body, letting all the cells of your body, all the organs, all your chakras, your energy centers to be nourished, enlightened, filled with the life and love and life force of Gaia, up through the heart, up through the higher chakras and out the crown of the head, rising your energetic cord up into the heavens, up toward the central sun, the center of our galaxy, connecting with higher guidance, anchoring, if you will, up into the collective central light of our galaxy. And then inhaling to draw divine wisdom, divine light, love, light, intelligence, down, down, down through that cord, letting each breath be the vehicle to draw it down, spiraling down into the crown of your head, down through the layers, until it forms a kind of spiral dance with the energies of Mother Earth. Dropping down through the lower chakras, down through that energetic root or anchoring cord, and extending that energy to Mother Earth, so that you feel yourself rooted and rising, your consciousness elevated above the horizontal plane of the 3D realm, so that you can see with your higher self on the throne of your consciousness, so that you can feel with the divine love, emanating divine love from your holy sacred heart, and so that you can stay grounded, anchored, centered with Gaia, journeying with her through this ascension. And take another breath with presence here. Again, knowing you can return to this anytime you wish. And when you're ready, coming back into the room. Okay. Where are we? Okay, I wanted to just quickly touch on a couple things. One is this idea of activism, and some people will call it sacred activism, some women in the priestess space. We've been, each of us has our own assignments, so we have to tune deeply into know. But we have been told that activism or fighting against what we feel is unjust is a means for change. But I really want to question this narrative. Is it? Note the frequency difference between strengthening one's light in the practices we're doing here now versus taking an oppositional stance against something. So with any situation where we might be called in these next 2 years to go into activism, now it may be that that's what you're aligned to do, but ask, first of all, is it in my lane? And then secondly, is this lowering my frequency? These are important questions of discernment and sovereignty. So it's not about making anyone wrong. It really is about, I'm speaking to light workers, I'm speaking to starseeds, I'm speaking to priestesses, to light bearers who came as primary service to hold a field of light for the collective awakening. Sometimes there is an activism involved if something's in your lane. But asking these discerning questions first before reacting is really, I feel, important because your light is priceless in these times. So thank you. Let's take a breath. So what I've shared so far and what I'll share at the very end, tip of the iceberg, keep in heart that we are moving through a transition period, not toward a de facto dystopia, no matter what anyone tells you otherwise. So we're going to shift more into inspired energies for number 5. But first, I have a request. I would like your permission for something. So what I've shared so far is a very small sampling of the skills, tools, and foundational principles for navigating the coming years. But I do have a way that I've been devotedly developing for you to deepen and strengthen all of these practices and much more. And so I would like your permission to spend about 10 minutes sharing this with you. So you can give me a message in here or a thumbs up or the little react thing. Just it would be helpful for me to know, that it's okay. I'm seeing some thumbs up. Thank you. Um, okay, wonderful. So I'm going to go back. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yay. I'm really excited about what I want to share with you next. So let me get that up on the screen. All right. What I want to share is specifically for these times. I've been nurturing it for many months. I'm really excited about this. And it is the culmination of my life work so far at 60 years old. So I'm sure there's going to be an opus or a great work of mine to come, most likely. But hey, you never know. So here we are. And what I want to share with you is my new training called the Inner Temple. And the Inner Temple I've subtitled it Essential Priestess Training for New Earth. You could also call it Essential Training for the Soul Aligned Woman. And its timing is really perfect, even though what came through before I was more aware of the next 2 years of change, of more rapid change. But again, just to remind us, we're going to be presented with many opportunities and invitations, as I like to say, to choose what boils down to fear or love. So what we want to do is strengthen our inner sovereignty, be clear about which timeline we're choosing, and consistently choose what we truly want despite external pressures. And that is what the Inner Temple is designed to support. And the journey and the process I'll share with you is a walk through 4 gateways. Gateway number 1 is the awakening heart, which is I'll walk through these, and then the next one kind of shows you how it correlates with what we've done so far. Gateway number 2, opening inner vision. Gateway number 3, sacred practices. And gateway number 4, midwifing new earth. And you can see a little bit more about a little touch on what it's about. Gateway number 1, becoming immune to frequency interference, is the goal and intention and power of awakening our inner heart. Maintaining your center and steering a straight course for ascension with clear vision is what Gateway 2 serves. The sacred practices of Gateway 3 help you strengthen your resolve as a sovereign being, whatever invitations you are offered to comply with control. And gateway number, not that we focus there, we're focusing spiritual. This is not about focusing on outer world shenanigans, but it is what supports your sovereignty. And gateway 4, midwifing new earth, lets you flow with earth changes and genuinely support the shift in the way that's uniquely aligned for you. So a few more things here, kind of, what is this? What will it do for you? Again, awaken the divine heart and compassionate presence, because there's a lot of suffering. Your own compassionate presence for yourself may be part of that, as we are challenged to relinquish the unloving systems, behaviors, relationships, patterns in our lives. Being in a sisterhood that supports that with training and skills in that will be of much value for those who feel aligned with this. It's also designed to activate your multidimensional awareness and strengthen your inner gifts, your intuitive gifts, so your clairs, clairaudient, clairvoyant, etc., so that you can embody your soul's mission during this ascension cycle. And of course, any of you who've trained with me, you know that grounded, centered is so important to the work I do. Staying grounded and centered in planetary energy acceleration will serve you well. When other people might be losing their center, how do we stay right here, right where we need to be? Foundational energy practices for healing and transformation is included in this, as well as nourishing support in a high frequency of sisterhood. So a sacred, safe sister container. Again, those of you who've worked with me before in intimate containers, you know the parameters I set to be sure that it's safe, sacred, and you are really free to bring forth your vulnerability and your wisdom. And this is all to serve you as you walk your unique ascension timeline with clarity and deep self-trust. So a little bit more here. I beg your presence as we take a breath together. and give you a few deets, some of the specifics if you're curious. This is 12 weeks of immersive high-level training in sacred ascension arts, 12 group calls plus 12 modules of coursework. All the calls are recorded, so if you can't make all the calls, you get access. You also get a one-on-one soul blueprint astrology session with me. If you've had one of those, we just go deeper. You get another one if you've done that. But this really helps you align with your unique blueprint, the things you came to clear, elevate, up-level, transform, etc. We look at those from an evolutionary astrologer's perspective. And of course, the 4 gateways of deep dive training and initiation, an opening ceremony, and 12 weeks access to the Priestess Sanctuary private community. So a little side note here for those of you, there's a lot of you here who are already in the community. Please note, if you are interested in this, go to your newsletter for this month or the sanctuary for your special code, because you get extra amount off of the early bird special, okay? Okay, so I think Lori's probably putting the link in the chat, but if you haven't yet, Lori, you can do that. You can see it at the bottom of these pages too. We'll do it at the end as well. But just a few details here. We begin January 22nd, 2026. Our calls on Thursdays. There are the times there, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Early bird pricing is $400 off. Till December 21st. So if this is already singing to you, please be sure to look at the page and take advantage of this now. And payment plans are available. Okay. I wanted to tell you about special bonuses just for you all here. Then we're going to get into number 5 in a minute here. This is just for you who are attending here today or watch the replay. You also get, in addition to the early bird, you're also pricing. This is available till midnight Sunday. 4 powerful heart healing meditations that are yours for life. You can download them and they're yours. Because again, the heart is so key right now. An additional one-on-one call with me. So you're going to get 2 one-on-ones where we can do astrology both times, one time. We're going to really feel into what would most support you right now and when would that be of best service for you. Then you also will get an additional 7 weeks. If you're not already in the Priestess Sanctuary, you're going to get 7 more weeks. So that's 19 weeks. And that, if you don't know what that is, this is really a way to expand your network of sisterkin. You get additional group calls 2 times a month. We get on live streams together and share. I bring through either channel transmissions or a theme that we focus on. There's prayer, there's meditation, there's sisterhood lift as we rise support. There's also 3 comprehensive training courses in there that are yours for free. You'll have access to for the 19 weeks, as well as hundreds, literally at this point, hundreds of recordings, live streams, channel guidance, grid sessions, guided meditations. I mean, there's just so much there for you. So that's, if you're feeling it and you would like to avail yourself of this, this would be the time to act. And again, for those of you who are already in the community, the benefit for you is that you actually get a special pricing and you have to get your code for checkout. And again, if you're not sure what that is, you can reach out to me privately, but you can find it right in the community now or in your newsletter that should have come yesterday. Okay, so there it is again, returnofthepriestess.com/ITPT, which stands for Inner Temple Priestess Training. Okay, sisters, thank you so much for receiving that. I really would love to work with any of you who feel aligned with this. Being in sacred space on a regular basis is such a rapid elevation of consciousness and such a beautiful expansion of sister network and support. So, but for now, let us move into our next area of change. Plasmic light and new light code. So this one's a little bit, this is the uplift. And I would say, despite all the other shenanigans, all the other things that can be really scary, the power of the plasmic light and the new light codes that are coming in for us as a collective, when we're aware of them and work with them, is mightier than all of those others put together. And that is if I can share one thing, I guess I would love for you to walk away with that. So, first of all, what is plasma? If you're wondering, what is plasma? Some people call plasma the fourth state of water. You got ice, you got liquid, and you got steam. Others say it's the fifth element. Plasma is the pre-form matter that births matter. So all the solar activations that have been happening, those expressions, that's plasma that's being exploded from the sun. Now, that's not the only plasma that we have. We are moving through what scientists were calling the photon belt. It's an area of space that our entire solar system in the Milky Way is moving through right now. That is high frequency light. What it is, they're plasma fields is what they are. That's more the language that's shifting to. It's high frequency love, light, intelligence information that's waking us up. It's waking Gaia up. It's affecting the entire solar system. It is the energy of the cycle of change. If you're familiar with the Yuga cycles from the ancient Vedic tradition, where at the end of the Kali Yuga, we're coming into an ascension cycle, an awakening cycle. Light is information. Plasma carries information. And scientists are discovering that these massive plasma fields that literally interpenetrate our Earth, they interpenetrate us, we are being bathed in them. They all seem to be connected with a primal plasma that one of my teachers, Sandra Walter, calls cosmic mother plasma. And isn't that so perfect? It is the plasma that's birthing all these other fields of plasma. Just the way the awakening of the divine feminine, divine mother, the return of the mother is happening on this earth. It is essentially the same thing. It is the rebalancing. It's the return of the mother ray of consciousness of God. It is the nurturing aspect. It is the birthing aspect. And so with cosmic mother plasma informing all these other fields, massive, humongous planetary-sized fields of plasma, new codes are coming in, new information that's awakening our crystalline DNA, our junk DNA, that's awakening women and men all over the world who are suddenly coming out of the stupor of what we believed was real, what we believed we had to do, and going, wow, all of a sudden I'm empathic, or whatever the tools are, whatever the awareness is. These new codes are coming in. And this, sisters, is our ace in the hole. This is the secret, I don't want to say weapon. It's the secret, sacred tool we have that makes all the other shenanigans of those steeped in darkness look a little bit like child's play. Now, that being said, it's like with anything. If you have, you want to wield your sacred powers with great maturity and responsibility. It's not something you just go, yeah, right, I got cosmic mother plasma, and now I'm going to get rid of all the bad guys. Not very responsible creation. We have to be deeply responsible with our creation. We have to be deeply connected with our heart and divinity so that we act from love and not fear, from divine dispensation and not from judgment. So yes, it's our ace in the hole. Yes, it will self-correct our realities when we work with it, but we have to do it with responsibility, divine love, and devotion. And the practice. So how do we work with these new light codes coming in? Well, all of the things I've mentioned above. Get away from the devices. Don't fall prey to the devices and divisive energies. Be in nature. Let yourself be bored so that you fine tune your receiver. Dissipate excess electric energy. Practice your spiritual practices. Tune into the heart. Come back into sovereignty. All of that. And conscious choice to attune to cosmic mother plasma, which is what we're going to do now as our last little meditative exercise before I do just a summarizing wrap up, a closing prayer, a share. We'll see what some of the things you've shared in the group, we'll summarize and then a closing prayer. So let us tune in now to this next practice of attuning to cosmic mother plasma. Once again, I invite you to close your eyes, tune in, take a breath. If there's a lot of busyness and energy up in the head, no problem. Breathe into it, expand. Exhale down to the heart. Pause in silence on the empty. Now I want to invite you to tune into the waters of your body. For example, the moisture in your mouth, your saliva, the water your eyeballs float in, the blood in your veins, the waters in your tissues and organs that keep them plump, the waters in the fascia that surround all your muscles. Connect with the water element. And now, using your attention and intention, in your mind's eye, place yourself in your favorite body of water, wherever that is. And if you don't have one, you could use your tub. Something, though, where there's natural water. So you're going to now come into harmonic resonance. Bring the waters of your body into harmonic resonance with the waters of earth. And just notice what presents as you do that. Sensations in the body, visuals, words, or perhaps nothing. Just allow it to be easeful. Good. Beautiful. And now, as you feel that resonance between Mother Earth's waters and your body's waters, attune to the heart, opening that stargate. Open, open, open. Feel the light pour through. Feel the divine light coming into harmonic resonance with the waters of your body, elevating the frequency of the waters of your body even higher, even more refined. Attuning with Gaia. I'm just going to do an invocation now. Cosmic Mother Plasma, come, come, come. Let us co-create together through the power of plasma fields, of my divine loving heart, the waters of my body and the waters of Gaia. I have come to be in service to the light of God eternal. I have come to be in service to this planetary ascension and my own awakening. Cosmic Mother Plasma, work with me as I walk in the world to live in harmony with Gaia and to step into my soul's greatest intention for this life. Attune to the highest frequencies. I receive the codes of Cosmic Mother to embody in the waters of my being that elevate my consciousness and bring forth all the ways that I am meant to experience the delight of life in service to love. See, feel, and know yourself bathed in the codes of Cosmic Mother Plasma, elevating the waters of your body, harmonizing with the divine light flowing through your heart stargate, and resonating in beautiful harmony with Gaia's ascending frequencies now. Plasma is the pre-form matter that births all matter. It's the preformed substance that births all matter. When we work consciously with Cosmic Mother Plasma, we create worlds. with our hearts and minds aligned with the highest frequency, we can self-correct our reality and bring forth light for the collective. Feel and know that now. And know that you can return to this place whenever it feels aligned for you, especially when you're in a body of water, but anytime really. And take a breath, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you, thank you. Okay, little more to go. Okay, your reflections. So we're going to go to the chat for a few minutes. How are we? Oh, we only have a few minutes. Let's see. If there's anything, I'm just scrolling now. Okay, there was the I can hear you stuff, much better. Vivian says she wanted to, when I asked what do you want out of this, to be in a community of awakened priestesses. Betty said spiritual connection with sister community. Barbara said connection with like-minded sisters and connection to unseen guidance and support. Okay, let's see if there's anything. People are introducing themselves. Women were introducing themselves. Grateful to be here. Grateful to have you here, Karen. Let's see, we have some new connection with other light workers. Thanks, there's some thanks here. Oh, someone put it in there. Megan put it in there. Thank you. SMART stands for Surveillance, Monitoring, Analysis, Reporting Technology. Yeah. Smart for them, not so smart for us. Jean says you're a wonderful teacher, Dawn. Beautiful. Thank you, Jean. Thank you. Thank you very much. Annette says the information is very helpful. Beautiful. Thank you. Got some thumbs up and hearts, and thank you, everyone. Okay, now let us come to the end of our time together. Sadly, oh, we got one more comment. Let's see. Thanks for the teachings and the insights, says Mary Pat. Reestablish a working relationship with you, Dawn. Yes, Mary, that would be lovely. It was good to see your name here. Trudy says thank you. Lots of hearts. Thank you, everyone. So let us move to our completion now, because I know we're just at time. So just a quick wrap up of what we covered today, very briefly. The coming 2 years, challenges and opportunities. We covered 5 areas of change, with just briefly touching on a taste of some support tools and practices that you can avail yourself of. A reminder, it's not about fear, it's about sovereign choice. This isn't a permanent dystopia. We are not in the Hunger Games or Brave New World. That's not what they want. That's what those who benefit from our sleep want, but it ain't going to happen, because we have the ace in the hole. We have the light of divinity. And, of course, the invitation to the inner temple to help you accelerate your self-mastery, gain support for the coming shifts. And, of course, for those of you here, you also get those 3 beautiful bonuses through Sunday night. Okay, so your sacred role in humanity's next evolutionary step is to serve as a light leader, leading your own life, perhaps leading others, perhaps your family, your community, holding that light, being a pillar, an anchor of light. We are called in these times to be fearless of heart, to be luminous of mind, to be strengthened in our bodies and connected with spirit. So let us cultivate and call forth. Take a breath. The love that eliminates fear. The light that dissipates darkness. The knowledge that empowers discernment. And the devotion to be the peace you seek in the world. I give thanks to Green Tara and to all the guides and all the great mothers, to Gaia and Cosmic Mother Plasma, for facilitating, supporting, and allowing me to be a conduit through which this guidance comes. May each of my sisters here feel the touch of your presence when they are in need. And may all of life benefit from the holy grace of Divine Mother's return. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you, beloved sisters, for joining me here. Thank you. Again, I invite you to join me if it works for you. You can check out the link that Lori will put in there. It is my honor to be here with you. May you have a beautiful holiday season, and may all good blessings come for you. You're here for these times. Thank you for holding the light. Many blessings. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I love you all. Bye for now. I hope to see some of you in the inner temple. Mwah. Actually, I'd love to see all of you, but anyway, happy holidays.